The Brewers are an organization that never, and we touched on this on Wednesday, right? They never say die. They're not a team that's like, okay, time to rebuild, time to accumulate assets. They're very creative in the way they run their organization, and winning is paramount there. Tons of respect to the Milwaukee Brewers organization for constantly striving to pick up W's and to compete for a postseason spot.
Plus, one of the coolest logos in all of sports.
Love that logo.
Oh,
so classic,
so
right?
clever, man. That M and the
beautiful.
B as a baseball glove.
Love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the point where I would buy a hat, I think. You know?
It's a good color scheme.
Yeah.
My mind was blown as a teenage boy when it was pointed out to me that glove logo was an M. And
me too, buddy.
I was like, what?
And it had to be pointed out to me too. I was never clever enough to just see it in my own, 17 years old being like, holy cow.
Do you know the hidden logo detail in the Blue Jays' new logo?
No.
There's a bird if you look closely in the logo.
Oh.
Yeah, a whole head of a bird, believe it or not. So
wow.
You got to kind of squint your eyes to see it, but it's there.
See, I've
heard there's a maple leaf, but I don't believe it. So
I was really blaming my youth on not picking up that Milwaukee hidden. No, not the case. All right.
All right.
So Brewers
let's
fans,
just cut that whole piece out of this. That was
just making us look like idiots.
This is why we don't record this early in the morning, Scott. All right, let's get back to focus here.
Alejandro Kirk for Corbin Burnes is kind of loosely what we threw out there. And we had a couple comments from Milwaukee fans. One was more along the lines of, I saw Kirk play against the Brewers and he looked incredibly impressive, hit a dinger. He's like, I would be all right with that, but I think a 1-for-1 deal is just not enough for Corbin Burnes. And I agree with that. I think when we brought up Kirk for Burnes, the caveat was there is going to be some prospects sprinkled in there.
Almost never a 1-for-1 trade in any sports league. There's always that tertiary stuff to sprinkle on the side to balance things out.
So what balances this out? Now, I was a little surprised to see Brewers fans were not at all saying, give us more. They were saying, take more. Now, the guy they brought up, and it does make a lot of sense because we really did kind of go over the fact that the Milwaukee Brewers are kind of in shed salary mode right now. I don't think they're going to stay there, but they're going to shed their, expensive pieces as they can, and then go to rebuilding a contending team as they do every few years. This is the Milwaukee Brewers MO. So they got rid of Josh Hader, right? Hunter Renfroe. Wherever they can shed $10 million, Colton Wong is on the block. But you know where the big chunk of money is on this team? And Adam, you were the one who pointed this out.
Well, I think this actually came from the commenter.
Well, this came from the comments. You were the one that pointed out the comments, but Christian Yelich. And literally these Brewer fans were like, what about Kirk for Burnes and Yelich?
Take some salary off our hands. Help us walk away from a contract that's going to see this guy get paid to 2042, believe it or not. It's one of those Bobby Bonilla contracts where he's getting $2 million a year into his 50s. So
now let's take a look at his contract. If you want to pull that up and give the details here, because Christian Yelich is still owed a lot of money, but is it worth it for the likes of Corbin Burnes over the next 2 years?
So $26 million a year for the next 6 years. That takes him to his age 36 season. Then another $20 million in 2029 as a 37-year-old. And then the rest of it, I mean, he's technically a free agent at 38, but he is going to be, we would be on the hook for $2.3 million a year until he's 50. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So what is the total price tag remaining?
I don't know. I'm not good at maths. Dude, it is 9 a.m. I didn't get into stand-up comedy so I could do math at 9 a.m. Oh, this was not in the show notes, Scott. Well, what's 25 times 6 would be about 150 million if we round down. It'd be like 140-ish million dollars. Someone in the comment section, do the math for me and tell me how close I was. I'm saying 140-ish over 6.
See, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Now, Christian Yelich is 30 years old. He is a shell of his former MVP self. Lefty bat, though. And an interesting little tidbit with Yelich, I really do think the elimination of the shift is he's going to be one of the guys that benefit from this. It's so funny with lefty bats now, right? Everyone's like, caveat, no shift, could change things. So let's take a look at what Christian Yelich has done over the last couple of years here. We are all aware of what he used to be, right? 2018, He won the National League MVP. He was...
Okay, so I'll go down the list here for you, Scott.
Yeah.
Notable awards: Gold Glove in 2014 as a 22-year-old. Silver Slugger in 2016. That's with the Marlins as well. Did get MVP votes that year. Finished 19th. Peaked in 2018, 2019. Boy, does this ever sound familiar? An NL left-handed bat who peaked in 2018, 2019, and has struggled in the past 3 seasons. No, not Cody Bellinger. Christian Yelich.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Now, Christian Yelich, wow, that is a big price tag. That, I knew it was a big price tag. I didn't know that it was pushing $150 million still owed. Whew.
Now, does this, again, not to circle back and spend too much time on Cody Bellinger, but does this, like, make Cody Bellinger look a little bit more appealing?
Of course.
This is what I'm saying.
But, you know what?
Corbin Burnes makes Christian Yelich pretty appealing too.
Doesn't he? So. Doesn't he? So let's move on from this Brewer talk. I did just wish to really quickly bring it up because I thought it was interesting that Brewers fans were so quick to be like, take our money. Yeah. Take Burnes. We'll keep the others.
You can have your mac and cheese, but you got to have some more Brussels sprouts if you do.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. You've got to have 150 million pounds worth of Brussels sprouts to get your mac and cheese.
All right, we've gone off the rails here.
We really appreciate all of you within the walk-off community. This thing continues to grow and become an animal of its own. It's a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, we love talking Blue Jays baseball and all the interaction that you folks are involved with us. Thank you so much. Discord, feel free to join it. That is always free. The show, or the link is in the show notes. You can follow us on Twitter at Walk Off Podcast, on Instagram, the Walk Off Podcast. And if you are watching on YouTube currently and you're not subscribed, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. All the best, everybody. Cheers.